Defender owners, they're typically very interesting people who've done things in their lives that are mechanically or problem solving or expedition wise but the thing is they're not selfish about it. They share it with you.
Mm.
So you bring a few Defender customers together and you have this community. You could, you put 5 Defender owners on an island, they're going to survive fine. They'll be just fine.
I love it.
And that differs, I think, from other products that I've worked on where you have, different mindsets, different skill sets, different personalities. I think I am now working with the greatest owners customer group
Yeah.
that I've ever been involved with.
Today on That Car Show, we've got Land Rover's Sam Allen. Sam's the brand director for the Defender here in America, where he leads the strategic vision and execution of one of the world's most iconic automotive brands. We talk about the Defender's heritage, its role in the American market, and Sam's personal journey with the brand. Also, the Defender's design evolution, its community impact through initiatives like the Defender Service Awards, and the unique experiences offered by the Defender Experience Centers. Sam shares his insights into the Defender's appeal, its adventurous spirit, and future plans, including participation in the Dakar Rally. Sam's a good dude with a real passion for Defenders and everything they touch. If you didn't already want a Defender going into this episode, you will by the end of it. If you're new to That Car Show, please give us a follow on your podcast platform of choice. And if you like what you hear, please tell your enthusiast friends. Every follow makes a difference. It's Land Rover's Sam Allen, and it's That Car Show.
Welcome back to That Car Show. I'm Lindsay, and I'm here with Ryan. And
Hey.
today we have a really cool guest that I'm so excited to chat with. We have Sam Allen from Jaguar Land Rover. And Sam is actually the brand director for the U.S. for Defender. And that's a vehicle that is very near and dear to both Ryan's and my hearts, and Dan, who is here in spirit. So I'm really excited to chat with Sam. We got to meet just a few weeks ago in person at the most recent destination Defender in Temecula, California, and had some really fun moments, but it was very busy. So I'm really excited to get this undivided time with Sam and have Ryan and Sam get to know each other and obviously share Sam with our audience. So I'll do a little bit of Sam's background, and then maybe Sam, you can tell us in your own words because you are the expert on your experience. So Sam has been with Jaguar Land Rover in a variety of roles for many years, and he drives initiatives with the goal of further strengthening Defender's position as what I think Ryan and I would very much agree with, the ultimate symbol of capability and modern luxury in the American market.
Indeed.
Sam currently oversees brand strategy, experiential marketing, and partnerships that connect Defender with the passionate communities of enthusiasts who love these vehicles. And his work celebrates Defender's heritage while inspiring new generations of drivers. And obviously, That Car Show team is part of that group. Under his leadership, Defender has expanded its presence into metropolitan growth areas, and he has led the curation of unique lifestyle events that blend music, culture, and off-road adventure. And in his free time, Sam is an advocate for outdoor adventure and authentic connections, and that reflects the spirit of the vehicle that he represents. So welcome, Sam. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Lindsay. What an introduction. That makes me sound very important. I would only add to that, for those that are hearing my voice for the first time, is that, yes, you can guess I'm not from Tennessee or New York originally. I've actually been living in the USA for 2 years now. And I'm unashamedly to say that I've been working at Jaguar Land Rover or its previous iterations for 37 years now.
Wow.
That's amazing. I'm glad you did the math. I knew you would know off the top of your head.
Yeah, I get reminded every now and again by people that I work with that I was becoming part of the furniture
Right.
in the West Midlands in Gaydon, so it was time to move to a new country.
Time to shake things up a little bit, right? I know. Well, and I
Yeah.
appreciate the commitment to authenticity with the British accent, obviously with the British brand.
Absolutely, and I applied for this role. I had, as you say, I've had a number of roles in product, vehicle testing, moved into a commercial role about 12 years ago. Developed through the ranks, using my engineering background to help the transition when we moved first for Jaguar I-Pace into the electric cars, but also into technology innovations. So I oversaw the introduction of a number of research projects that brought some fantastic technologies to the Land Rover brands. Some things I'm really proud of, like adapting the terrain response systems to the automated versions,
Okay.
enabling the car to automatically know when you're at a destination to lower and to raise,
Cool. Yeah.
doing some of the tow assist technologies. So that was a great period of development, which I think helps me or helped me transition into the Defender world in the US. But my personal authenticity with regards to Defender is I love travel. I've traveled, I don't know how many continents, but Australia, Africa, Asia, Europe, America.
That's awesome. It's probably simpler
Travel's a
to list the
passion.
ones that you haven't visited.
Exactly. Yeah, I've been to the Arctic, if you count
Yeah.
Archipelago testing facilities, but I've never been. I've
Wow.
not been to the North or South Pole yet. Let's make it an expedition one day. Hey.
Yeah.
Yes. We can be the official podcast team of the Arctic expedition for Defender.
Yeah. Did you grow up
Right.
with Defenders? Was Land Rover part of your family as a kid?
So yeah, a couple of family relatives have had Defenders. My direct family never did, but me and my father, we used to restore cars when I was a kid. I used to sit in the corner with a dummy engine so that I didn't mess up the one that he was really
The one that needed
really
to run.
fixing. Yeah, so I'm unashamedly third generation of automotive industry. Um,
Wow.
so yeah, it's in the blood. And Defenders, obviously, if you live in the UK, I grew up in Oxfordshire,
Okay.
where the old Defenders were very common amongst friends, family, farmers, and now the new Defenders are equally as popular, I would say. In the Cotswolds, and
Yeah.
the well-heeled farmers now have
Yeah.
the new
Right.
Defenders. There's a lineage there.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love it. Well, that's something that, I've gotten to know Jeff Houdan on your team also. And that's something he always talks about too, is that, I think a lot of us see them in sort of the more urban environments these days, at least in the States, doing the school run and that kind of thing. But there is so much heritage and lineage, and, the green oval still means something. And like you were talking about
Yeah,
all the technology and engineering, and it's all still there in this very luxurious package now, which I think is the best of both worlds.
I mean, you mentioned talking about heritage and the past. We don't kind of lean into it as a necessity, but we do rely on it as a
Yeah.
heritage. We're proud of it.
Yeah.
Right.
There was a scary stat once. I read that something, like in the 1970s or something, 70% of the population, the first car they saw was a Land Rover. I mean, we
That's
talk about
amazing.
other brands going off road. Well,
Yeah. Yeah.
there were no roads when we were going there, so
Yeah.
it was all off road. We kind of built the
Right.
map, if you like.
Well, it's an
I love it.
icon, like so few cars are, right? Like the Porsche 911, right? It's an icon.
Yeah.
You know
Yep.
it when you see one, right? How does your customer in the United States differ from the ones back home?
It's really interesting because people that have a knowledge of Defenders currently are almost enthusiasts, ambassadors. They're knowledgeable. But we have to remember that Defender or early Land Rovers came here and were sold through, you know, random stores, almost grocery stores on shop corners. There were deals to be with businesses that would sell the series
Huh.
Land Rovers. We didn't actually have a presence in New York, and I think it's the 90s. I think the Range Rover came in the late 70s, and Land Rover Defender itself didn't start selling here until 1993,
Yeah.
until 1997 or 99. But we sold 6,500 original Defenders in the
Sure.
US, the NES spec Defenders.
Okay.
The first
Okay.
year being only the Defender 110, and then the subsequent years being the 90s and the cabrios you see with the roll
Yeah.
cages.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the customers here, I mean, those original 90s cars are like cherished possessions
Yeah.
almost.
Yeah.
They're becoming valuable assets
Yeah.
actually.
They
As that
really.
as our new brand grows,
Yeah.
the the appeal of the old cars, and people are starting to learn more about them. And I would say, you know, we had a 20-year gap between the
Mm-hmm.
old Defenders and the new Defenders launching. So we're still a fairly new or small brand, even though
Right.
we had a part of the history, and we're going from strength to strength. But yeah, there's definitely a job to be done on my side from awareness in many parts of the country. There is an absolute job to be done for the misplaced belief that all Land Rovers are unreliable and break down, and you know, if you see oil in it, it's good because it must. If it's leaking, it must have oil in it. You know, all of these stories
Right.
are totally irrelevant to
Yeah.
today's
Yeah.
quality of standard of the new Defender, and that's. I'm not sure if you know, but we're entering the Dakar Rally.
Mm-hmm.
That's specifically, you know, we're putting ourselves on the line
Yeah.
against other manufacturers in the stock class. I think they have a 50% attrition rate, and you know, we're putting our money where our mouth is. Defender,
Yeah.
Octa, and we're there to win it.
Yeah,
I hope.
yeah, yeah. Let's go back to like those 94 and 95. I think they were Defender 90s because when those came out, I wanted nothing more than one of those. And I think they were only about $40,000 at the time. I could be wrong. And it's amazing to me how they've increased, but they were just such wonderful, wonderful vehicles. But you mentioned too, the Cabrio, the soft top. Will you ever bring the soft top Defender back? I know there've been some aftermarket outfits, but
So they're currently, of new Defenders, we actually offered a drag top, rag top.
I didn't know that.
And no, exactly, and not many people do. It did not prove to be a popular option.
Interesting.
Um, Now the the convertible styling is obviously very desirable. It definitely
Yeah,
suits the 90, and again, the 90 is not the most popular version of the Defender in the
yeah,
US.
yeah,
It amazes me. For me, it's a big
yeah,
car,
yeah.
but for the US, it's a fairly small car.
Sure. Yeah.
I love the Defender 90, especially the
Yeah,
V8.
I
It's
do as well.
incredible.
Yes, that's the one I want. Done and done. Yeah.
Would I like to see a convertible version of it in the future? We'd never shut the door on any of the
Yeah.
options, right? It
Okay.
would be a cool. I think we'd agree it would be a cool thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely. So we talked a little bit about the differences between, the customers in the States and the UK. And it sounds like, folks in the UK maybe put theirs to use in different ways than the typical person in the States does.
Um, I don't. With the modern Defender, I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
I would actually say that the modern Defender in the US probably gets used off road more than it
Yeah.
does in the UK. I
Okay.
think it's
All right, well,
flipped. I think
that's,
it's flipped.
yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Interesting.
the I love the attitude to the outdoors and the adventure that I
Yeah.
meet with Defender customers here. You know,
Yeah.
people will drive them thousands of miles, often,
Yeah.
you know, across off-road, because you have vast areas of off-roading. I went to Colorado with
Yeah.
the Octamedia drive, and
Yeah.
we off-roaded for 5 or 6 hours. You know, like, and that was we touched a tiny area. I
Yeah.
think we went, from Grand Junction over towards Moab.
Oh, fantastic.
If I drive that far off, you know, in any direction from where I live in the UK, I fall in the sea.
I know, right? Isn't that amazing? Well, I want to be on the next tour in Colorado because that's a fantastic part of the state. There is so much, and I do see so many new defenders here in Colorado, which got me thinking: where are your big markets in the states? Because I do see a lot here. I assume I don't know. West Coast is another big market, but where are you selling the most defenders?
So
That car show is brought to you by Sheffield Watches.
The Sheffield watch brand has a long and storied history, but it was revived a couple years back by our good friend and true car guy, Jay Turkbus. Jay was gifted a Sheffield watch by his parents when he was a kid, and he still has it to this day. Jay wanted to make the same experience available to all of us, a reasonably priced, high-quality watch that endures and that we enjoy sharing with our fellow watch enthusiasts and car people.
From diapers watches to watches designed for travel to collaboration with automotive pals like Spike Ferriston and Jay Leno, Sheffield has a watch for you. Find your own Sheffield watch at sheffieldwatches.com and at Sheffield_allsport_watches on Instagram, and let Jay know you heard about Sheffield Watches from that car show.
obviously, and I think you could canvass most premium luxury brands. The major metros we sell a
Sure.
lot of cars, you know, New York, Miami, LA, Austin,
Yeah.
Dallas.
Yeah.
But we do sell, significant numbers up in like Salt Lake,
Okay. Okay.
specific areas of Miami. Um, I'm getting my geography right now, like Charleston, Charlotte.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, it's the biggest numbers are probably in the biggest metros,
Yeah.
but the biggest differences versus, normal car sales are in very specific areas like the Pacific Northwest or
Yeah.
Denver and all the way
Yeah.
down.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's and I love to see, I mean, the scenery here and the diversity of geography is is mind-blowing to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. Yeah.
You've got 50 countries, not 50 states all
No, that's a good
in
way
one
to put
country.
it. Yeah, it's very much like that. I was just reminded of that a couple weeks ago when I drove 900 miles to Wisconsin for Thanksgiving and back, and and
right.
I've lived my whole life doing those trips. But you do that in Europe, and like to your point,
So
you're in the sea or you're 3 countries over or
So
something. So,
I actually took a photograph. We were driving from where I live in New York to my partner's parents' house in Detroit,
okay,
and we kind of left New York into New Jersey, going to Pennsylvania, and then the sat nav said something like 546 miles to the
yeah,
next junction.
yeah, yeah,
I needed,
yeah,
to my next turn.
yeah,
I've
Right.
never seen anything like that in my life.
yeah.
Those
It's a big
directions are
country
always
for
so
sure.
funny. It makes you definitely gives you pause where you're like, I'm sorry, 700 miles before I do
Yeah.
anything else.
I'm like, I'm going to need
All right.
gas before I get to that junction.
Right, exactly. Can we go back real quick? The breakdown of Defender models currently, like what is the breakdown in the States? What I imagine it's the 110 that's the most popular, but
Yeah. So obviously we offer the 90, the 110 and the 130.
hmm,
The 110 is significantly more more popular with regards to volume, but it's really
hmm,
interesting if you dive into demographics, gender, um, life stage.
hmm,
And as you'd expect, we've got a portfolio of vehicles to meet a portfolio of needs. So Defender 130, America is by far the largest market for Defender 130.
interesting.
And it's by far the highest female ownership. And it kind
Wow.
of, people are using it as a third row, 7, 8 seat um, family car.
Yeah,
It's a nice, comfortable, safe,
yeah, yeah,
assured place to be.
yeah,
Um, what's what's strange, or I thought it was strange because it didn't stack with the typical Euro mindset of the Defender 90 has the cheapest entry price,
mm, mm,
then the 110, then the 130. So you would normally think that the age demographic of
yeah,
those cars would would be in line with, the cheapest cars, youngest people, more
yeah,
expensive cars.
yeah, yeah,
It's the opposite. It flips. So
yeah.
110 is in the middle, but 90 is actually owned by a slightly older and a slightly wealthier population
Interesting,
than the
interesting,
130.
interesting.
And then when you dive even further into, well, why is that? It's
Mm,
because most of the Defender 90 customers, other than the avid design aficionados that want that silhouette, the use cases seem to be a later life toy for
uh,
couples.
okay,
So and the cross shop is incredible. You would think a cross shop would be a Wrangler or a Bronco,
sure,
right?
yeah,
But 911 is up there,
interesting,
right? So it's people who are saying, I've got to a certain stage
yeah,
in life. I want
yeah,
a toy, or I want an adventure vehicle, or I want to project this outdoors, or actually, I'm going to go be active. Like
yeah, yeah.
it's really interesting. Yeah, really interesting.
And I think it's being active, but it's also doing it at a different pace. As a Porsche owner, I know that the capabilities of that car on the street are very, very high, and to really have fun, you have to push it and this kind of thing. And then I get in something like the Defender, and I take it off road, and I'm like, oh, this is a different kind of fun, right?
Exactly.
I'm relaxed.
Ex-
It makes more sense than maybe it seems, on the surface, right? That people would
and
shop
actually,
this.
the Defender 9, I mean, I've had a couple of Defender 90s, both
Mhm.
in the UK and here. It's huge in the back. It's not the
Yeah.
easiest
Yeah.
ingress and egress. I'm not sure I
Yeah.
would want to put baby seats and everything into the back of a
Yeah.
90. I would get a 110.
Sure. Sure. Sure.
But actually, karting for a couple with occasional rear seat, the rear seats are enormous.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I got to drive. I've driven a few of the new Defenders, but on a couple of occasions I've done them at press events where I've got the competition there, right? And sometimes they're not even Land Rover events, and I always find myself coming back to the Defender because it's so maneuverable off road. It's narrow in a way that some of its competition isn't. They're comfortable, but personally, I like the Heritage editions. Is it the County that you did with the steel wheels and the white top? Will you be doing more of those? Because that's the one that's got my eye.
Have you seen? Did you see the Beach Break? We
I don't
did
know that I
an edition
have.
called the Beach Break. Check out the
Oh,
Beach Break.
okay.
It was
Sure will.
that was my first delve into trying to make an American
Oh, right on.
version of a Defender, and it's
Okay.
my inspiration was from the County, so we share that
Yeah.
that mindset. I love the old vintage steely wheels,
Yeah, I do too.
and this year's trophy car actually. They're just starting to arrive. You know, I'll be doing the trophy competition. We're reinvigorating the trophy
Yeah.
competition.
Nice.
And we have
Yeah.
a limited edition one in Sand Glow Yellow, and one in Keswick Green. And they
Yeah.
both have now the steely wheels, but in black.
Okay. 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 Camel is the word that cannot be said, right?
Well, Camel Trophy was, you know, a legendary part of
Yeah.
Land Rover's
Yeah.
history.
Yeah.
And now we're reinvigorating the Defender Trophy competition, which is
I love it.
it's being held, you know, multiple nations having qualifying events for a global finals next year in Africa.
Mhm.
It's all leaning into Defender's capability, but it's also about the individuals taking part and coming together as a team, doing conservation work. I'm really excited to see the trophy come back.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's an important part. It's the link again between heritage and future.
Yes. How do you walk that line, you know, of the future and the past? Because you do have a different, I think, clientele, and you can't upset them, but you have to stay competitive. So what are the traits that you sort of identify as traits that will always be baked into a Defender, right?
Okay.
You know, because a Defender feels like a Defender, whether it's an old one or whether it's a new one. It's got it, right? It's got its own vibe.
So I have to say, I think the design of the current iteration of Defender is exceptional. You know, it's immediately identifiable of having the lineage, even though there isn't a single carryover component, right?
Right.
Now is that a good thing or a bad thing? Well, it's a good thing because one was designed or evolved from 1948.
Sure. Yeah.
And then one was designed and evolved from 2018, released in 2020.
Yeah,
so you would be, I think, shocked if you found shared componentry between the two. But what's really clever is the silhouette. You know, if you were to park one with the sun bright behind it, one next to the old one, it's never been anything other than a Defender.
Right. The
And one
DNA
of the
is very evident.
Correct. You know, the Alpine lights, the waistline, the tread plates on the bonnet. They're just things that the overhang, you know, front and rear over. It's just everything is just there. They did a perfect job of reinventing the Defender, but everybody was a little bit cautious because it was less utilitarian. But the world, all of the cars are less utilitarian. You know, there isn't a car today, I don't think, with manual windy windows and doesn't have sat nav. And you know, so every single car in every single segment has evolved. And that's just part of human evolution, mechanical evolution, computer evolution. The world has moved on.
Yeah.
There was possibly some negativity from, you know, owners on the sidelines of it's more expensive. A house is more expensive these days too. You know,
Right.
Well, that's for sure. So,
Everything
right?
is. A cup of coffee is more expensive.
But one of the interesting things about old Defender customers, new Defender customers, and I put them into a category that's quite flattering, I think. I think they share this element of being an expert. And let me break that down for you a little bit, because
do tell.
it's not often been said out loud, but if Defender owners, whenever you meet them at Destination Defender, owners clubs, or at a retailer, or just out in general, they're typically very interesting people who've done things in their lives that are mechanically or problem solving or expedition wise, but the thing is, they're not selfish about it. They share it with you. So you bring a few Defender customers together and you have this community. You could, you put 5 Defender owners on an island, they're going to survive fine. They'll be just fine.
I love it.
And that differs, I think, from other products that I've worked on, where you have, different mindsets, different skill sets, different personalities. I think I am now working with the greatest owners customer group
Yeah.
that I've ever been involved with. The market researchers, they've all got clever ideas, they've all got solutions to things, making recommendations, and typically they've found something in their life that they've become an expert at. It's a common trait amongst Defender owners that I find.
Really
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah. I've never heard anyone representing any brand say that about their client base. That is really an interesting trait. Wow. Huh.
I know. I love that description. And like, what a flattering, sort of inclusive approach of just like, hey, we're all here because we love these cars and we have this common approach to life. And I love the idea that they're go-getters and passionate too. I mean, when you think about it, if you're becoming an expert in something, it's because you love it. And so that carries over into
Correct. And you
vehicles and how you live your life.
you persevere. Yeah.
Right.
They're pioneers. They just we come to another analogy. You're driving a car through the forest and you come across a stream. I won't name any other brands because it would be disrespectful, but some manufacturers get to this point, or their drivers and owners get to this point, and they say, "Oh, there's a river. We better drive down, drive up, turn
Turn
around."
around. Yeah.
The Defender customer says, "How deep is it? Like, how deep is it? Can we go through it?
Yeah.
Can we push forwards?"
Right.
And then, "Oh, okay. Well, we'll only go far enough until we can definitely make the passage." And they just see this will to push past boundaries and to go further.
That Car Show is proud to partner with Drake Motor Cars. Drake Motor Cars is Denver's premier destination for exactly the kinds of vehicles that we like here at That Car Show. Think Velocity Broncos, Audi RS6s, Acura NSXs, and air-cooled Porsches. You can see their complete and constantly changing inventory at drakemotorcars.com and check out their amazing online reviews from all across the country. But our friends at Drake need your specialty car too. A sign of a good business is when there are more customers than inventory. So reach out to Drake too if you've got a great enthusiast car that just doesn't get driven like it used to. Find out more at drakemotorcars.com and let them know you heard about them on That Car Show. Who do you think your closest competitor is then? Is it the G-Wagon? If you were
I think
there
you have
shopping.
you have to split it out. So Defender Octa, Mercedes G-Wagon. Definitely.
Yeah.
Because when you look at competitors, you're typically looking at affordability as well as attributes. You can't just say, I've got a ride height and a width and a power, therefore this is my competitor. People that are shopping always have a budget, whether that be for shoes, jeans, a house, a car. So I think throughout our portfolio of vehicles, the competitor set changes depending on whether it's a Defender 90, a 110, a 130, an Octa, and that will change when we have strategies to make new derivatives or new revisions to the product. What I think we share with a lot of the people is the mindset rather than the attribute of the vehicle. I think there are adventurous people that want to do activities that have a budget. And the same mindset of wanting to have adventure, to portray toughness, durability, the go-getters with the roof tents and the ladders and the gear carriers and the off-road tires, the mindset between a Wrangler, a Bronco, a GX, and a Defender are probably fairly similar. but the purchase decision comes down to affordability,
Yeah.
levels of tolerance to refinement, and
Right.
getting to your off-road and off-road. What do you value the most?
Yeah.
Are you going to put
Yeah.
it on a
Yeah.
trailer and go
Right.
to Moab, or do you want to drive to
Yeah.
Moab and drive back as well?
There you go.
Right.
So the competitor set, I think, the mindset is what unifies. The actual competitive choice comes down to use case and affordability.
And this is something I always remark on about Defenders. And I compare it to a track car that someone is able to drive to the track, drive on the track, and drive home. And I feel like Defender is that in the
Yeah.
luxury off road because you can drive it to the trailhead in comfort with all the, bells and whistles that you want, and then have an amazing time on the trail and then drive it home, like you said. And that, I think comes down to kind of quality of life, I would imagine, plays into it as like, how do you want to be able to use it? How do you want it to tie into your life?
Yeah.
And I think when you mentioned the Octa, which is something I got to experience for the first time, I had seen them, but I got to actually experience it off road at Destination Defender in the fall, just a few weeks ago. And I would love to talk more about those.
And I am so jealous.
They are just amazing. I mean, I told Jeff and Sam.
Did you go with Davy Jones?
I did go with Davy Jones, who is my new favorite driving coach or vehicle host, all the things. And I could not stop smiling. I mean, it is the contrast, the experience between what you're seeing, what the trail looks like. And it was, like we said, it was very rainy and muddy. So it was a true test of the vehicle's capabilities. And Jeff walked me through the engineering team and kind of the thinking behind it and everything that went into creating the Octa at the Destination Defender in Malibu a couple of years ago. So, Sam, I'd love to have you share more about that too for people that aren't familiar with kind of the history of that vehicle being created, but just what you're seeing in the terrain and then the actual physical experience being in the vehicle is such a contrast because you're so comfortable and you're chewing up these trails and it's like, it's amazing. And you just keep smiling. So Sam, your thoughts?
Can I say that I'm very jealous of you as well, because we met at Destination Defender in Temecula.
Right.
I was having quite a busy weekend,
Yes.
and I didn't actually get a chance to go with Davy
no.
Jones in the Octa. I did go on the off-road course, but not with Davy in the Octa.
It's a must
Unfortunately, I
do.
didn't have the spare time to do that. And
I can't imagine
well,
why.
if you're going to do an Octa experience, why not do it with a 24-hour Le Mans Jaguar
Right.
race winner, right?
I know. Well, and I got to go to
Incredible.
Le Mans
Yeah.
in June. And so it was like this, it was such a full circle callback moment for me personally. And then, to have that be the first
And
Octa experience
he's
too. was
such
just,
a nice guy.
just
Yeah,
amazing.
he's such a nice guy. So what does Octa mean for Defender, or why was it developed? Ultimately, every successful brand has a halo product, right? We needed to have a halo product to be the North Star, if you like, the ultimate Defender. As we're moving, we've evolved from old classic Defender to modern Defender. No secret, modern luxury and tough luxury is our North Star. So we wanted to build a car that was everything that Defender is: refined, capable, powerful, durable, reliable, provides confidence, and then just turn that notch up and see where we could go. So the suspension system, the 60 suspension system, we're not the first car to use that technology, but we're the first car to use that technology in an off-road with huge articulation. I think it's on McLarens and things like that for track cars and performance, but Octa's the first time it's been used to increase articulation. And if you were in the car, you said, Lindsay, that you see the terrain in front of you and it looks like you're going to have some crash and some bangs from, it looks like you're mechanically going to damage the car by hitting and then you glide across it like you're almost in a hovercraft.
Right.
It's crazy. I remember my mechanical brain, the first time I went on a test track with the test engineers in a prototype at Gaydon, same thing. They built a track that was almost like a rally stage. It had deep ruts in it that you weren't following like you would normally in a Defender. You were going at 45 degrees to them and you were drifting through them. Like, and my mechanical brain was wincing
Yeah.
at, what's this going to do to the car? And you just passed by it. Like,
Yeah.
it was phenomenal. Yeah.
Huh.
And not to mention it's pretty quick too.
Yes. The acceleration, the ride, the capability, I mean, it's the whole package, like no question. I got out of it and I'm like, well, I need one of those, obviously.
When
They're the
we
best.
went to, when I went to Grand Junction, we, as part of the tour, the media drive, they said, well, we're going to go across, we're going to do some wading across the Colorado River. Like to a Brit, that's, oh my God, Colorado River, are you kidding me? And I thought we'll drop into at a place where it's maybe 20 meters wide and
Sure.
we'll come out the other. We drove into the river and then we turned and drove downstream for, a considerable distance before we then exited somewhere else down the bank. That was an incredible experience for me.
That's
Actually
amazing.
videoing, being drone
Yeah.
recording you driving through the Colorado, not just across it, but through it, down it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, these events are so integral to the brand, right? And I think in a way that's unique. I know Jeep does their thing, right? And Toyota has events, but Land Rover really takes the driving part of it seriously in a way that I think other OEMs don't. I remember many years ago when the Discovery 2 was new, my parents bought one, and the first thing we did was we went on a Land Rover sponsored driving day. And from that point on, we just felt so much more capable behind the wheel, like nothing could stop us. And even though that was years ago, that stuck with me. I remember that day vividly, right? And I just talk to us a little bit, if you would, about the importance of that, and because I think Land Rover is unique in that way.
So, yeah, we have a number of fixed site Land Rover experience centers. Every customer that buys a Defender gets a voucher that they can redeem at the Land Rover Experience Center or the Defender Experience Centers, as they're more commonly known now. We have one in Vermont, we have one in Asheville, and we have one in Carmel,
That's where I got to go.
California. And some, visitors can just turn up and pay to use one of the cars, or clients can bring their own car. And the whole purpose of those is to actually show what Defenders can do at their limit. And the modern Defender, unless you're a trained enthusiast off-road driver, your brain would tell you to back out before the car's capability is reached. And so taking people into these environments to actually see what a 45-degree slope feels like, what a 40-degree side angle feels like, what trusting the hill descent control feature feels like.
Yes.
That makes driving to the store in the snow feel extremely confident, right?
Yeah.
Well, it makes rain irrelevant.
Right.
So it's the purpose of these centers and the experiences and all of the trips that we do and all of the off-road that we do at Destination Defender is about demonstrating that if you're a regular car driver and you think you're adventurous because you drive onto a grass field for your kids' soccer training, or if you've got a bit of land and you use it to,
Right.
you can turn it up a number of notches before the car's even going to start sweating, let alone get worried. So we do. I'm sure you're aware of the initiative we do called Defender Service Awards.
Yes.
So where we give away 6 cars a year to worthy causes, non-profit organizations. One of the greatest days of my year is when we do the handover and we take the new recipients of these vehicles off-road and we show them the technology, and we show them the capabilities. And some of these people, they're search and rescue teams or they're animal rescue teams, or they're not novices to going off-road.
Right.
And they're just blown away. Once you show them how to use the technologies, how to, change the setup of the car, because a lot of them have been struggling with regular 2-wheel drives. And, we had this group there were animal rescues in Canada, and they covered an area of thousands of kilometers. And, driving in the winter in Canada, you can imagine I think was it Yamnuska? I think it was.
That sounds very far
They-
north.
right? And they're getting stuck. They had two-wheel drive sedans.
Oh,
Oh
wow.
my
And they're
God.
going to rescue animals from like 10 hours away, 12 hours away. And they're getting stuck in two-wheel drive sedans in snowdrift. And there's pictures of the volunteers sleeping in their cars on their way to, and now they've got a Defender. They're sending us images of,
Yeah.
they're sitting there with the heated seats on.
Right.
They're listening to the music, and they're just like, the dogs are on the, in the cages in the back. It's
Amazing.
life-changing for them.
Amazing. What's the process for nominations and how does that work?
To get into, so every year we open up Defender Service Awards on our website, and anybody can nominate any non-profit organization. So they don't have to nominate themselves. Somebody can say, I'm thinking of this animal charity down the road, or I'm thinking of this veterans outreach. Anybody can supply their name to us. We contact them and say, oh, you've been nominated, or we understand that you're interested.
Yeah.
Tell us why you need a new Defender, and make a video about you and your team and how a new Defender would improve or help you to further the services that you do in your community.
Okay.
I think this year we had over 3,000 applicants.
Really?
Right.
It's remarkable.
Now, this is where it, from there you think we can't give away 3,000 cars, right?
Well, you could,
So-
Sam.
Not yet.
Well, I don't think we could. No. One day.
Yeah.
So we split them into 6 categories. We've got veterans outreach, animal welfare,
Okay.
outdoor accessibility, search and rescue, community services, and then we have a 6th category, which is the honorees category of people that made it to the finals in previous events.
Okay.
They get automatically put back into the
Okay,
system for a second chance.
Yeah.
And actually at
I love
Destination
that.
Defender this year, one of the finalists that had reapplied every year for the last 5 years actually won.
Really?
It was a
So
remarkable
perseverance,
story.
you see it? They go,
Again. Yeah.
But so yeah, we narrow down. We have an agency that we give criteria to.
Okay. I was
Of
gonna
what
ask
are we
that.
looking for?
Yeah. Yeah.
They narrow it down to about 20 charities in each category.
Okay.
And then the senior leadership team here in Marwa, New Jersey, split between each of their teams. We have a category each. We watch 20 application videos, and we narrow that down to 10, I believe it is. And then those 10 from each category go onto the website, onto our Jaguar Land Rover North America website, and the public vote.
Okay.
So it's
Okay.
not us. It's not us choosing. And the efforts that the charities put into promoting their charity, spreading the word in their local areas, obviously gets them more votes.
Yeah. Got it.
And one of the almost the winners are the winners. That's great, and the runners up, great. One of the things that I love is that even people that don't make it to be in the finals or don't win write to me and say participating in this helped our organization grow.
Yeah.
I
love that.
You made us go out and canvass more for attention. You made us step up the gear a bit. We got more recognition. Other people may have donated more funds to them because they are more aware. So for the winners, it's incredible. Life changing.
sure. Yeah.
For second place, we give them a cash remuneration to help them with their cause, even if they didn't win the car.
Not bad. Yeah.
But the overwhelming thing is that it's actually highlighting the good that so many of these charities do all of the time, week in, week out, across the country, and they grow their own footprint and impact just by participating in what we sponsor. So,
Right.
and we it's not just us. We have a number of sponsors that donate to each category's winning funds.
Right.
Hearts and Science is one of them. Disney as an organization is another. Outside, Pelican,
Sure.
EI3 and S&P Global are the
Okay.
6 category sponsors. And then we have an overall 2 event and presentation sponsors. That's Chase Bank,
Right.
JP Morgan, Chase
Yeah,
Bank,
sure.
and Artemis Cars, which are a company that make accessories and kits and modifications, a bit like you would see on Overfinch or Range Rover
Oh,
or
sure.
Urban.
Okay.
Yeah.
So without their kind generosity, this would not happen.
Because Artemis helps outfit the defenders that go to the organizations. Is that correct?
Not for the Defender Service Awards cars, but
Oh, got it.
Artemis do supply. So Artemis are one of our presentation sponsors, and they've auctioned off some of their components at some of the galas that
Got
we
it.
have, and they do have some connections to our retailers for upfitting Defender vehicles for clients that want a slightly different look.
I have to ask, I don't know if either one of you saw in the news, GameStop, it's this video game store, just had a promotion where, I don't know, you got $5 off, but you could trade in anything, right? And so people would trade in anything from a paperclip to, I think there was a stuffed leopard. And I guess what I'm getting at is, I'm sure that you get all sorts of organizations that apply for this thing. Anything stick out as a real outlier to you? Or maybe you don't see those because, by the time they get to you, they've been filtered out by your agency. But what's the most unique application or of one of your vehicles?
We get some incredible. So the one guiding principle for us is we don't care if you're a one-man band or a 10,000 person organization. If your values and your purpose and your services in the community match with our category, then you have as good a chance to win as anybody else, as long as you can get yourself out there for the reach and the votes. We see, in fact, an incredible submission last year came from a filmmaker, so a professional filmmaker and producer who had an affinity to a charity, a search and rescue organization in their town, and they used the film producer owned a Defender. So they literally went out and made a video with drones and proper professional editing and using a Defender, original content and storytelling. And it was for a charity that they then approached and said, we've made this for you. We're going to submit this for you.
Yeah, really raised the bar.
Like that's insane.
Yeah.
What a commitment.
Wonderful at the same time. Right.
You talk about, that goes back to like the passion and perseverance and that's a through line with Defender enthusiasts.
But we have everything from, we've had wolf dog sanctuaries.
Right.
We have Nathaniel's Hope, one of my favorite charities that we dealt with. They got such a fantastic story behind it. It's the mother and father of a unfortunately very sick child, and that after the child passed away, the family just had the means to start and had the enthusiasm and passion to continue offering help to other families. It's down in Orlando, Florida. They got one of the best logos for their companies. It's actually a caricature of their son, Nathaniel's Hope. It's awesome.
Look that up. Yeah.
But Defender Service Awards are so important to me. I would say it's the most important or most impressive, the thing I'm the most proud of ever working on in my career. And I'm a Brit and I'm an engineer, so I'm not emotional and I don't cry very often. But I can tell you the day of the year, every year that I will cry, and that's the Defender Service Awards handover day.
Amazing.
It's unreal.
Sam, we talk with so many people on this show who we just can't imagine doing any other role, right? And I think you fit into that group. I can't imagine anyone else in this role for Land Rover. You're just like the perfect guy.
Appreciate you saying that. Thank you.
It's a perfect fit. I know. Well, and Sam and I had the chance to talk briefly at Destination Defender about the service awards. I had learned about them a couple years ago, but this was the first year that I really, I got to see the presentation and be there when the winners were announced. And Sam and I got to talk a little bit about how meaningful it is to him. And he said, I promise you will cry. And he was not wrong, because it's just so incredible what the brand is doing. And I think, Sam, you touched on this a little bit, because it is a lot of sort of micro organizations. They're charities that maybe don't have the visibility before this or even in their communities. And hearing about all of the amazing work that they're all doing, and then getting to see what a difference the being recognized and having this new Defender and the way that it allows them to expand or increase the work that they do and the help that they're providing to their communities is really incredible. And I think, I don't think a lot of people know that Jaguar Land Rover does this and that Defender does this. And it's really an amazing service for these people that are doing these amazing services. I love it. And I think, Sam, could you talk a little bit too about Book Trek, which was shared at the Destination Defender this year, and I thought was such a cool project.
Yeah, that's a great
What's this? Yeah.
That's a great segue, Lindsay, because as you were just talking, then I was thinking, oh,
Great.
I need to tell them about Book Trek. So
We're on the same on the same page.
We have we have an internal competition with our retailers and our training network with that we call Defender Trek. So we wanted to do something that was purposeful, because we say that every journey in a Defender is purpose driven. So how do we prove that? How do we stand by that? How do we make that a real thing? So to get to Destination Defender, which was in Temecula, California, and our head office is in Mahwah, New Jersey, we decided to do a Defender Book Trek. So we drove a Defender with Book Trek livery and a trailer, a Formula trailer. I have to give a shout out to them. It was a Formula Triumph trailer that donated it to us for free to use for the Book Trek.
That's
We
wonderful.
put we put 2,500 books in it when it left Marwa, and we drove it to our first retailers in Parsippany, and then the deal was it was a relay across the country. So once our team had delivered it to Parsippany, the retailers the staff from Parsippany would drive it to the next, which was in Mainline. Then we went to Alexandria, and we went to Virginia Beach, and we tracked it all the way down the coast. But every retailer it stopped at had to replenish the books. So they held a media event with children's charities, hospitals, anywhere that would benefit from, and it was children's to youth books. So literally spreading literacy across the country. But every retailer paid out of their own pocket for the books. They donated the time for their own staff to drive it and transfer it to the next retailers. And that went through 15 retailers, 3,700 miles. We delivered 40,000 books. Went through 11 states. Wow. And I actually flew, when I flew to Destination Defender, I didn't fly to California. I flew to Phoenix, Arizona, because I wanted to drive the last leg from Phoenix, Arizona to Temecula, Destination Defender, past Joshua Tree, through the desert. It was just something that I wasn't going to pass up.
Yeah.
But so in total, we touched thousands of people's lives.
That's incredible.
We had hundreds of organizations. And in return, they brought news crews and they covered the journey. And now we've got a trailer that's in California, and of course it's going to have to come back. So we're planning another route. Instead of coming down and across, maybe we'll go up and across next time, or straight through the middle. Who knows?
That's just fantastic. That's just fantastic. I don't know any other manufacturer who's doing anything like that. And I think more proof that Land Rover is just a very unique company, and the Defender is just a very unique vehicle from that very unique company.
I mean, at Destination Defender, talking about, we had a number of, there weren't really, one was an expedition, an overlander.
Yeah.
One was a private car. We had Pollyanna. I don't know if you know, if you're familiar with Pollyanna, the Series 1. So there's a car that was owned and bought in 1950, I think.
I do know this.
Called Barbara Toy.
Right.
And she went on to write books about traveling with a Defender. I think she's written 4 books. She's driven, I think the first journey was from London to Baghdad, but she's driven to Africa. I think she had the car for 9 years, covered 250,000 miles in a Series 1 Defender.
Yeah.
Then
a lot of miles in a Series 1, yeah.
Then she sold it for a Series 2A.
Okay.
She must have wanted the modern upgrades.
That's right.
Came with that. But then I think 40, 50 years later, she bought the car back. And she very, very kindly loans it to us for special events, things like that. So,
Right.
so if you're talking about expeditions or driving these
Yeah.
miles,
Yeah.
I find I have a personal responsibility to make sure that we continue to put New Defender through similar trials and
Sure.
tribulations.
Right. Right. And speaking of that, what's next for the Defender? Because I feel like you've had so many special editions in the Octa, and I mean it's been a very busy few years since the new Defender came out. But what's coming up next?
Being busy is better than the alternative, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, the next we obviously we are going to continue with the service awards. We continue Destination Defender because we're really in America trying to build this community.
Yeah.
We're re-engaging with our old community, but we're also building a new community. Then we have Trophy that comes back on. You
Yeah.
know, that's going to be a global,
Should be amazing.
covered by media. Can't say too much more about it than
Okay.
that, but
Okay.
let's expect some very good coverage for Defender Trophy.
Nice.
And then the big one for me, and I touched on it earlier with dispelling the myths of durability and reliability.
Mm.
Octa and Dakar, the D7XR race car. We've got an exceptional driver lineup, and I'm super happy. You may have met Sarah Price at Destination Defender in Temecula, Lindsay.
Yes, she's wonderful.
The first American to win a Dakar stage. We've signed her up as our third driver. We got Stefan Peter Hansel, who Mr. Dakar, getting the rightful message about tough luxury and durability into the market is so important to me. It's so frustrating I mean, maybe it's a testament that people talk about Land Rovers being unreliable because they're talking about 1992, 1995. I'm glad they're still running. They can't
That's
be
a
that
great
bad
point.
if you're still talking about them and they're 25
yeah.
years old. They can't be that bad.
Yeah.
But the modern ones really have an undeserving connotation, and we're going to remove that barrier to entry by saying, look, here we are, Dakar.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, it's
What
mic
else?
drop,
What
right?
Yeah, mic drop. Exactly, mic drop.
Yeah.
You know, I think we're setting ourselves up to, well, judge us by the Dakar.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Sam Allen, brand director for the Land Rover Defender. It's been a real pleasure speaking with you. And I apologize for the technical difficulties with Lindsay here today. If you've been listening and seen Lindsay come in and out, it's because they're dealing with a big storm in Seattle at the moment. So, but Sam, we will edit this into a nice, pretty package with a bow on it, and it'll be fantastic. But anything we can do for you on our end, please let us know. I aspire to own a Defender at some point. I'm a big fan, if it wasn't clear in the conversation, but I just think what you're doing is really something special and different, and really admire what you're doing and what the company's doing, and just so glad to see it, and hopefully see you out here in Colorado at some point as well.
That would be great.
So
that would be great. Yeah. I mean, anything that you can do to help us with the spread of Defender Service Awards, Destination Defender, our community, building this community. It's a passionate bunch of individuals, and it's coming together.
Yeah, we've got my word. So Land Rover and the Land Rover Defender, where do we find you? Where do we follow you on Instagram and other places?
Yeah, so we have Instagram, #Defender. Come straight to it. It's a global site. You can get us at Jaguar Land Rover North America.com. Go along to one of our retailers, jump in the car, try one. Try one.
Yes.
You'll be surprised.
Yes, that's it.
Pleasantly surprised, I hope.
Yes. Fantastic vehicles. Sam Allen, brand director for Defender at Land Rover. We're so glad to have had you on. Thank you. Fascinating conversation. You're doing wonderful things. Hope to have you on again very soon, and hope to see you here in Colorado at some point soon as well.
Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate it.
Well, until next time, we are That Car Show, and always be driving. Sam Allen, thanks again.
Thank you.